G'day YouTube, QuietPenguin here, back for some more matchup analysis with my MechMage deck. So today we're playing against a Control Warrior, we're on the draw. So we're going to keep three of these cards. We're going to keep the Shredder, the Mech Warper, and the Snow Chugger. We're going to get rid of Low Feb. So generally the cards you're looking for in the Control Warrior matchup are Snow Chugger and a Noyatron, and both of these minions are really good at stopping the Control Warrior player from getting much value out of his weapons, and that's really the main way that a Control Warrior deck is able to control the board early. And generally, if they're not able to get any value from their weapons early, they generally lose. That's how it's been in my experience, so that's how we're going to go. So generally, guys, when I make these videos, I just jump straight into ladder and keep playing games until I hit the matchup I'm looking for. But today I queued up, I played, and I just could not find any warrior decks. It was crazy. It's a super unpopular deck right now. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so I've got a good friend of mine, BN Oracle, playing the deck for us. He's a really good player. Yeah, so you don't need to worry about that. This is the best possible way for me to record a proper game for you guys. So here we're going to play out Mech Warper and coin out the Snow Chugger. His turn 2 was pretty weak. He didn't have an Armor Smith or anything like that, which is pretty good for us, but it probably means he's got like a turn 3 Acolyte of Pain or something gross like that. But if he's doing that, then he's probably not going to be able to deal with that Snow Chugger, and we'll be able to turn those weapons off, which, as I was saying before, is really important. Alright, now my friend, he plays two decks mainly on ladder, I believe. I believe he plays a lot of this deck, a lot of Control Warrior. And he also plays a heck of a lot of Handlock, which is actually the next video I have to make, so it's pretty convenient. Okay, so here he just plays out a Fiery War Axe and kills off our Mech Warper, which I think is a pretty good play. He really doesn't want us to play a 4-drop this turn, or he'd just get really far behind. But it does mean that we can freeze his weapon kind of indefinitely here, which is good. So we'll freeze him, attack, and then our only real play is this Mech Warper. So we'll play that and pass. So he's playing a pretty new list of Control Warrior. I know he's playing stuff like Piloted Shredder, which would be pretty bad for us here if he has it, but there's not a lot we could really do about it. Hopefully he doesn't have it. Let's see what he's got here. Yep, okay, so he's got one of those, which is pretty good for him. And we've just got a Piloted Shredder of our own. And the Cogmaster there was a really good draw. So we're just going to go face with all this. We're still trying to keep him frozen as much as we can. His attack next turn, he's probably just going to kill off the Snow Chugger, but there's not a lot we can really do about that. So we'll play out our minions and pass. And this matchup is one of the matchups where even if you don't have Archmage Antonidas in your hand, you really need to be saving your spare parts for him. Generally, the early game, we get a decent amount of face damage in, but not really enough to finish them off. Especially like when the Warrior deck has cards like Shield Block and Shield Maiden. It can be really hard to finish them off. So yeah, it's really important to try and save your spare parts for Antonidas. Okay, so he's got an Acolyte of Pain into a Cruel Taskmaster, which is pretty good here. Alright, and now we've got some decisions. So we could either ping plus Shredder, or we could play out a Piloted Sky Golem. Alright, so here I want to kill off this Taskmaster because I can eat it for free. And then it's important to remember, guys, with freezing, that he attacked into the minion, which means that it'll actually be frozen on his next turn anyway. So we don't really need to ping it off this turn, which allows us to play Sky Golem this turn. So here we can just go face with both. Remember that he's got this weapon out, so we really need to sort of put some pressure on the board while we can. He could brawl here. It's not a bad turn to brawl, especially if he's lucky enough to get one of his minions to survive. But we do have two Death Rattles on board, which is going to help out with that quite a bit. Okay, so he's thinking. Let's see what he does here. So we've done a decent amount of damage here so far. I mean, we've done 13. We've managed to get him down to 17, which is pretty good. Alright, that is a terrible, terrible 2-drop to get from our Shredder. Alright, so he's got a shield block now. Shield up. Alright, and he decides to just kill off the Sky Golem. That's fair enough. So he's decided to keep his weapon around right until the end. He wanted to see what we got from the Sky Golem, which is a pretty good play. Definitely fair enough. Alright, let's see what else he has. Second shield slam. Alright, that is a pretty good turn for him. Alright, so he's able to clear off most of our board. And he's turned off our Shredder. Okay, so Neutron here is a pretty good draw. So we just need to think about how bad Brawl would be for us. So if we play a Neutron and Shredder, how bad would a Brawl be? And honestly, I don't think it would be too bad. Simply because we've got cards like Dr. Boom coming up. So we'd rather sort of try and get that Brawl out of his hand now if we can. So I'm actually going to play the Neutron and the Shredder rather than just say Shredder and ping. And that's because even if I ping the Shredder and he gets a minion out, I can't really kill the minion unless he gets a really, really bad roll. Whereas the Neutron's going to protect all our other minions. And if he hits it with the Shredder's going to die anyway. So we don't really need to ping it here. So just going to play those two guys out. Swing in with these. And let's see where this goes. Alright, so he gives it to the Cogmaster, which is not too bad. It means that even if he kills his mech, at least this guy's a 2-2. So, could be worse. Let's see if he has the Brawl. Okay, no Brawl. He's just got the Armor Smith. Crashes in. Let's hope he doesn't get some kind of 4-4 disgusting minion. Alright, ship's cannon's not too bad. We can deal with that. Alright, second shield block into armor up. Alright. Okay, we draw a Fireball. Fireball's a great draw here. We're going to need that to close out the game at some point. Okay, so here we're just going to put our piloted Shredder into the Armor Smith and prevent him from getting any more armor. We really want to get that off the table, especially when we don't have to trade for it. So here we've got a couple options. We can either send our Cogmaster into the 2-3. But I don't think we really care about it that much. We're just going to attack his face with all these minions and play a Dr. Boom. So if he brawls now, we're in a little bit of trouble. We will have the two Death Rattles from the Boombots and the minion from the Shredder, so it's not too bad. We'll be able to mitigate it somewhat. And that was a really good target for the Swordsmith too there, by the way. But the other good thing is if he plays Brawl, we've got a really high chance of having one of our minions survive. Okay, so he just decides to Death Bite, and he's attacking one. Which one is he choosing? Bum, 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 bum. He has no idea. Alright, so he's decided to pick the Shredder. Right, so it's possible he's setting us up for like a Brawl next turn or something. Ours a pretty crappy drop. Alright, he's got the Big Game Hunter. That's really bad for us. We were hoping he didn't have that. But there's not a lot we can do about that, unfortunately. So at the moment we've got 4, 5, 9. We have actually got 15. Ah, and he has the Whirlwind. Alright, hopefully that goes phase 4. Not enough damage. Alright, that was a really good play by him though. That Whirlwind saved him there. If he hadn't done it, I had the Fireball. So I'm just going to let him know. There, I want to let him know just how disgustingly lucky he was. No, so this is generally how this battle goes, guys. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of sort of playing for the board. It's a really difficult matchup, but it's a lot of fun as well. And as you can see, he's a really good player, guys. He knows when to be greedy and when to play it safe. And that's one of the really important things when you can play a control deck in Hearthstone. I mean, I know I like to make the greedy plays as much as I can, but you've really got to know when you can afford to be greedy and when you've just got to play it safe. Alright, so he plays out a low feb, which is like a perfect low feb turn there for him. It was a really, really good time to play it. We're just going to ping him, shove out this Goblin Blast Mage because it's the only play we can make. We really don't want to run out Archmage Antonidas naked in this matchup. It's just not worth it. We need to get the value from it if we're going to win the game. Alright, hopefully he doesn't have something like a Shield Maiden here. That'd be really bad for us. And he's got a Gromash, which is not the best for us. Certainly could be better. Okay, we draw Mechanical Yeti. Alright, so we've got a couple options here. Here I'm actually really tempted to just Fireball off this Gromash. One of the main ways we lose is if we just go something like Archmage Antonidas, Time Rewinder, we'd get a second Fireball. But if he has any armor gaining cards, so if he has any one of his 2 Shield Maidens, or like some Armor Smith sort of shenanigans, we could be in a lot of trouble here. So I really don't want to risk that. The other card he could have would be something like Alex Straza. We would just simply die to it. So now that we've sort of got to this part, we sort of want to exhaust his threats, and getting rid of that Gromash is really, really critical because it's his main form of burst damage. So we're actually going to Fireball off that Gromash. We'll play out the Mech Yeti here, and we're actually going to ping face. We can ping off the Loatheb next turn if he chooses to trade. There's no real reason to do it this turn. Let's see what else he has. Hopefully he started to run out a bit of gas here. Let's see. 8. Oh, yuck. Alright, so this is where, guys, we really need something like Archmage Antonidas to sort of close out the game here. As you can see, his late game is really kicking in now, and his late game is better than ours. I mean, his deck is designed to be better in the late game. Alright, so here we're just going to play Archmage Antonidas, Cogmaster. We'll armor up the Antonidas, and then we'll get that Cogmaster back to our hand. And so that now we're at the point, guys, where we're going to be hoping that these 2 Fireballs are enough. So if he has one of his 2 Shield Maidens or any of these sort of Armor Smith shenanigans, we're probably going to lose this one. Right, so he's got a Death Spite, so he might just be guaranteeing the kill on the Archmage, or is he going for the win? Alright, nice, I like that play. So he's going 50-50 to win the game, because he obviously didn't have any way to gain any armor, so he's worked out this is his best line of play to win the game. So it's all coming down to this, guys. Alright. Alright, so 50-50. Can Rag hit the Archmage? He's right, this is a very tense moment, guys. Like, you wouldn't want to be playing this match for like 10 grand or something in one of those crazy Hearthstone tournaments. Alright. Come on, Archmage. Take one for the team. Ragnaros. Dun it. Dun it. Dun it. Dun it. Alright. What's gonna happen? Thinking. Yeah, thinking with no mana. You have no more plays! Ah, these obnoxious rope players, man. They're so obnoxious. Why do they do this? Every queue is like another roper. Alright, 50-50. Ah! Alright, guys. So as you can see, you've just got to put yourself in the best position you can to win. We had a really good start there in the early game. We were able to get that face damage in. And then sort of at the end game, you need a little bit of luck there. I mean, he did have the Gromash there. He did have the Rag, and then he had the 50-50 hit at the end. But that's okay. You know, that's how Hearthstone is sometimes. It's a random game of elements, and that's what makes it so much fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.